Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
Vacations will never be the same. Welcome to the theme parks of Universal Orlando Resort. With spectacular hotels and more, Universal Orlando offers an entire week of vacation awesome. Visit universalorlando.com.
Elevate your home and linen care routine with Rowenta steam stations. Stubborn wrinkles? Delicate fabrics? With Rowenta, consider it done. Our steam stations deliver professional quality results in a fraction of the time of a regular iron. High-powered steam output, lightweight, portable design. Visit RowentaUSA.com today and experience the difference.
Have you ever been listening to a creepy ghost story or haunting history and you're like, damn, this is so enjoyable, but I wish my friends were here so we could experience it together? That's us. We're your girls, and we'll bring the snacks when you join us on I Scream, You Scream, the podcast where we serve up chilling stories with a side of our favorite ice cream.
Every month, we pick a new flavor of ice cream and a new topic to go along with it. Werewolves, poison, cemeteries, you name it. From deep dives into stories we all thought we knew to your real-world experiences, at this ice cream party, we always get to the bottom of the bowl.
Cozy up with us every Tuesday for your weekly scoop of the most chilling histories, mysteries, and paranormal perplexities. Until then, keep it cool.
And keep it creepy.
Do you love true crime and travel? Having traveled the world solo the last couple of years and being obsessed with true crime, I found myself researching others who took the same vacations but never made it home. The Last Trip is a true crime podcast covering missing and murdered people that were living their best lives on vacation. I'm your host, Jamie Beebe, and each week I'll bring you on The Last Trip, taking a deep dive into vacation culture and travel spots, tips on staying alive while traveling, and ultimately recreating someone's last days in paradise. What led to their last trip? What are the hard facts? What is the final outcome? And could you be next? David Snedden was a 24-year-old college student from Utah attending Mandarin classes in Beijing when he mysteriously disappeared while hiking Tiger Leaping Gorge. Chinese authorities said he drowned in the gorge, and U.S. authorities agreed, although his body was never found and his parents didn't believe that. 7 years later, out of the blue, they got a phone call from a former U.S. official who had evidence David is still alive. This case sounds like a Hollywood movie, but evidence doesn't lie. So where is David Snedden? Famous rugby player and Celebrity X Factor contestant Levi Davis went missing in Barcelona last year while on a backpacking trip through Europe. Just days before he vanished, he posted a 15-minute video to his Instagram account saying his life was in danger and people were after him. After he disappeared, several theories emerged. But what really happened to Levi Davis? Join me, Jamie Beebe, co-host of the popular true crime series Strictly Stalking, as I embark on a brand new adventure combining true crime and travel. Listen to The Last Trip wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for listening to The Red Treehouse, where I tell scary stories to keep you up at night. You can listen to The Red Treehouse on your favorite streaming platforms. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Oh, and leave a 5-star review. And now, you can find The Red Treehouse on Patreon. Join the Red Treehouse community for as little as $3 per month and receive exclusive member benefits. Simply go to patreon.com/Red Treehouse. Important note: sources for this episode can be found in the show notes. The Red Treehouse is dedicated to my dad. I love you, Pop. In this episode of The Red Treehouse, I'm going to read you 2 original short horror stories, written by Jaco Wenrich Klug and Drew Valdez. You can find the links to their Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and Substack accounts in the show notes. Each of these stories is unique, but they're both guaranteed to leave you unsettled and keep you up at night. So sit back, turn down the lights, pull up the covers, and pay close attention as I read Lights Out by Jaco Wenrich Klug and Richter's Chest by Drew Valdez. I'm your host, Will. Welcome to the Red Treehouse. Lights Out, written by Jaco Wenrich Klug. Garage light, check. Kitchen light, check. Backyard light, check. Living room light, check. The darkness behind him is all-encompassing, comfortable, deep, known. He proceeds to the archway that leads to the front door, the last step turning off the last light. The stairs, dark and narrow to his left, beckons him up to his warm bed. To his right, only a dim light from a small Christmas tree on the mantel, lit year-long. One step, a glance to the left. The dining room light. The dimmer is still on. Moving with ease, he turns it off. 1, 2, 3 steps. Wait, something catches his eye. A small beat from his wrist to let him know his heart rate has gone up. Soft warm fur wraps around his ankles. His heart calms as the familiar form snuggles down by his feet, a pert inquisitive chirp indicating a need to be picked up. 1, 2, 3. Heart rate slowed to normal. He glances up slightly to look at the door. Little windows surrounded on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why so many windows around the door, he thinks. What's the point? The wife, of course, likes a well-lit room. The more windows, the better. The cat insists upon itself. He bends further to pick up this purring softness when he hears a soft click. Or was it a soft knock? He feels a shift in the air. Can you feel a shift, he thinks. He read an article somewhere that said the lizard brain is always active, so he thinks so. Glancing at the windows, still lit, outside light. Nothing there but silence and a deep darkness just out of reach. A quiet neighborhood. Safe. No gunshots heard here. Immaculate lawns, or will be. Jeff, or nosy neighbor Jeff as he secretly calls him, will be up early to mow his lawn. That's really how it all starts. A cul-de-sac chain reaction. First Jeff, then Mark. Next Anne's grandson, at least he thinks that's her grandson. Then the Hamiltons. and of course himself. The lawns must be done. It's a compulsion started and not truly finished till the whole neighborhood has fallen in line. But that's for tomorrow. For tonight it's dark, and he's tired, and he needs to finish turning off the lights. He thinks back. Garage, kitchen, back porch, and dining room light he calls the little dimmer. Leaving on the Christmas tree all year is his only concession for his wife. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dining room makes 6. Cat stirs in his arms to snuggle deeper, light purring safely. Glancing to the small studio to his right. An extra light this time from the desk lamp. A short shuffle walk while balancing the cat reaching for the light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. The porch light will be 8. Finally, all is dark now except for the tree. And of course, the light from the front door with all the windows. The cat readjusts in his arms. She's heavy, but not too much, so he stands still again, looking at the doors and windows, frowning. Is the door locked? He can't remember. His watch beeps again. His heart rate is up. I don't know if I feel slightly sick or scared. He wonders where that comes from, but it's his truth and he accepts it. He surprised himself for not only saying it out loud, but accepting this pit of fear in his belly. He wishes he hadn't spoken out loud, fearing he has broken some unspoken night rule of silence while turning off the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just have to get to 8, and I can go to bed. The bed is warm. He knows this because his wife is always cold. Too many blankets, he thinks. 1 sheet, 1 heated fuzzy blanket, 1 basic blanket. Too many. He only uses the sheet, and just barely. He doesn't mind. He likes how she nests. His thoughts were interrupted by a slight movement caught in the corner of his eye. A movement in the lower right window. The cat still entwined in his arms. Time to finish. 1 step toward the door. 2 steps. Movement now on his right, he's sure of it. The mound of fur in his arms makes an inquisitive noise. So you saw it too. Again surprised, he spoke out loud. A raccoon, perhaps, or a skunk. Nothing strange about that. 1, 2, 3 steps. No, 4 to the light. And did he lock the door? Is the door locked plays over in his mind to the tune of, I'm gonna be 500 miles. He feels as if he's already walked 500 miles, just to turn off the light and lock the door. Is the door locked? Playing on a never-ending loop. His heart rate increases by each beep of his watch. Am I afraid, he thinks, of my own door in my own house? What am I afraid of? It's the 8th light. We do this every night. 1 garage, 2 kitchen, 3 back porch, 4 living room, 5 dining room, 6 study, 7. Wait, what is 7? 8 is the door, right? His hands are sweaty from fear or the heat of the cat. Maybe he thinks he should go do it again just to make sure. 1 step back. Yes, let's make sure. A soft thump against the door. The cat, now alert, has stopped purring. Ears straight up. Tail slightly flared. 4 pairs of eyes stare at the door. Then the door windows. Is that what they're called? But more importantly, is the door locked? 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to find out, and then he can turn off the light and go to bed with his wife. Take the first step. Something hits the glass window. Movement. His arm's empty, but covered in scratches and free-flowing blood. 2 steps. Is the door locked? Squinting, he sees it. What creature is this? 1 step back. Something is grinning at him through the window. What big teeth you have, he thinks, then giggles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh God, it's smiling. The creature's grin gets wider as if he knows he's counting the teeth. He can't stop. 12, 13, 14. A hand. Could it even be considered a hand, scratching its nails down the window, pointing one long, sharp finger to the door? 1, 2, 3, 4 steps back. Wait, is the door locked? The knob slowly turns.
You need a vacation, so why not come play in LA? Fill your days with fun and let Los Angeles dazzle you with iconic landmarks, epic scenery, and stunning coastlines. And when the sun goes down, it's the perfect place to enjoy world-class dining and nightlife. Let play lead the way and soak up all this city has to offer. Start planning your LA getaway now at visitcalifornia.com.
Shopping is hard, right? But there's a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And she sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what I love and send back the rest. It's so easy. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
Experience a progressive lens engineered with AI from Essilor, powered by individual measurements of your visual behavior. A lens personalized to you by an Essilor expert. Discover Verilux XR Track and enjoy instantly sharp vision in motion and seamless transitions from near to far. Find your local Essilor expert today at Essilor.com.
Clorox Scentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Scentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Richter's Chest, written by Drew Valdez. The circus was winding down, and the midnight hour was approaching. Patrons dispersed, gossiping about the feats, freaks, and marvelous sights they witnessed. Bo nodded politely, tipping his hat as the masses walked by. Broom in hand, he swept up the numerous cigarette butts and discarded filth left behind. He hated working for this dump, but being on the run from the long arm of the law limited his choices. Nobody asked questions here, and they accepted his alias at face value. Here he was Bo Connolly, and as far as anyone knew, the name Billy Granger meant nothing. No one cared about the banks he robbed, or the unfortunate incident resulting in the death of that baby-faced deputy. The fact that he had to wear grease paint as part of the gig added to the convenience of laying low. "Bo, you ready?" The man set down his broom and turned to find his dear friend Reginald sitting on a bucket enjoying the remainder of an abandoned cigarette. "You don't know where that's been, Reggie. Put that out before you catch tuberculosis or something." Reggie laughed, but continued to puff on the end of the rollie, paying Bo no mind. There were other things on Reggie's mind, important things that required his full attention. "Tonight is the night, Bo. After we pull this off, we're made men." Bo sighed, a cold sweat forming on the back of his neck. Reggie was referring to their plan to rob the big man, Hans Richter. He was the main attraction for the circus, a strong man who could bend truck axles with his bare hands. The man had no weaknesses, other than his taste in women and his love for the drink. At one point in time, Hans had been one of the most sought-after circus performers, along with his wife Magda, the contortionist. Rumor had it, she had an affair with a dwarf and ran off. After that, Hans spiraled into alcoholism. He still managed to bring in crowds with his feats of strength, but he was a husk of his former self. On one occasion, when his drinking was particularly bad, Hans invited some of the groundskeepers to his quarters. He had a magnificent trailer made from a repurposed cargo container and a large tent off to the side. Reggie had managed to sneak inside and found an ornate chest sitting at the foot of Hans's bed. "Must be full of some major moolah," Reggie had said, licking his lips like a parched lizard. The friends had discussed the idea of robbing Hans, but never followed through. They knew that Hans could pop their skulls with nothing but his hands, without breaking a sweat. It was more of an idea and a way to pass the time. However, over the last few days, Hans had drank to such excess that he was found on more than one occasion, passed out, stark naked. The boys decided it was now or never. Reggie had managed to make a little extra cash selling stolen goods to some of the other groundskeepers, and purchased a handle of schnapps in town. Hans was originally from a small town in Germany, and he couldn't resist the taste of the stuff, practically inhaling it. Bo had mentioned the drink to Hans prior to his show, and the strong man beamed like a schoolchild seeing his first pair of breasts. The hour passed while they waited by Hans's trailer, slowly losing their nerve as time continued to tick by. Finally, he arrived, leotard and all. His mustache wiggled as the corners of his mouth turned up in a much too eager smile. His large hand wrapped around the neck of the bottle, and he started to down the drink at a record pace. Reggie pulled out 2 cigarettes and lit them simultaneously, passing one to Bo after the cherry flamed. "So Hans," Bo said, "how'd the show go?" "Same thing every night. I lift, I bend, I show the peons my muscles, then I drink," Hans said, clearly not in the mood for conversation. Bo was satisfied with puffing on his cigarette, conversing with Reggie about some of the nice-looking wives that attended the circus that night. Hans occasionally chimed in, saying all women were dirt, before turning his attention back to the schnapps. The big man threw the bottle to the ground, shattering it. The flying shards nearly cut Reggie, but he managed to pick his feet up just in time. "What the hell is the matter with you, Hans?" Reggie said. "Shut your mouth. You no tell Hans where to throw his bottle. Hans drink, Hans break." Bo exhaled a smoke ring and walked over to Reggie, giving his forearm a soft squeeze, indirectly telling him to cool it. The drunker Hans got, the more he started to rant about Magda. "That woman took everything from me. She want, I give. But it was never good enough for Magda. Magda wants more and more. Then Hans, catch her lying with that bastard dwarf, the laughing man. So I Hans stopped himself mid-sentence, pausing to stare up at the moon. "Never mind," Hans said, grabbing a warm beer from the crate. Bo watched as he downed 1, then 2, then 5. Eventually, Hans was wobbling back and forth as he walked. He started stripping his clothes off and singing a lullaby that Bo didn't recognize. It must have been something from his homeland. "Guten Abend, guten Nacht, mit Rosen bedacht, mit Nageln besteckt, schlupf unter die Deck." Hans repeated the lullaby several times before falling to the ground with a hard thud. Blood pooled around the back of his head, and Bo wasn't sure if the strong man was still amongst the living. "Is he dead?" Bo said. "I don't think so. Look at his chest." Hans's diaphragm moved up and down in a slow rhythmic motion, still breathing. Bo decided to give him a few minutes to make sure he was asleep before heading over to his trailer. The door was heavier than they expected, making an uncomfortable amount of noise when they swung it open. Bo looked back at Hans, making sure he wasn't giving chase. He seemed to be fast asleep, lying as still as a rock. After he was convinced there was no danger, he continued in behind Reggie. They looked for something to give them a little light, finding a lantern sitting on top of a table. The light was minimal, but it worked well enough. Reggie spotted the chest, pointing excitedly with his bony finger. The chest was beautiful, made of quality wood and adorned with a complex filigree. A heavy metal lock kept the box closed, and despite Reggie's best efforts, he was unable to gain purchase. That's when they heard the scratching. The men listened closely, trying to find the source of the noise. Their limited light made it difficult. Bo dropped to his knees and crawled on all fours, listening closely. "What the hell is that? You think he's got rats in this place?" Reggie said. Bo brought his index finger to his mouth and shushed his partner. Reggie threw his hands up in a surrendering motion and decided to try and find the key. Bo moved closer to the origin, stopping and listening in between its intervals. Reggie did his best to keep the volume down as he dug through Hans's drawers and other personal belongings. Bo felt like the noise was coming from the bed. He looked under the mattress, swallowing down his fear. Nothing jumped out from underneath the bed, and for that Bo was thankful, breathing a sigh of relief. "I think I found it," Reggie said, holding a small brass key up to the lantern. The key was old, looking like something out of a black and white movie. Both the men froze in place and waited for the noise to happen again. They walked over to the chest, kneeling beside it. The noise was furious now, droning on and on with no breaks. Reggie put the key in the lock, hesitating before completing its turn. The lock snapped open and dropped to the floor, startling both of them. Bo reached over and placed his hand on the lid, slowly pushing it open. Right before the men could see what was inside, Hans burst through the door in a demonic rage.
"Get away, you bastards! You shall not harm my love!"
Hans screamed, spittle flying from his mouth with every word. The veins in Hans's neck swelled, like a school of angry snakes. His eyes were bloodshot, and his naked body shone in the moonlight. Hans charged, screaming a stream of profanities in his native tongue. His hands were on Reggie in a matter of seconds, closing around his neck. Reggie fought hard, but the strong man snapped his neck in one swift motion. The sound of his friend's neck breaking was sickening, causing Bo to lose control of his bladder. Urine soaked through his pants, and he began scooting backward, reaching frantically for something to fight Hans off. His hand found the handle of an ice pick, which he gripped firmly and tucked behind his leg. Hans threw Reggie to the ground, knocking over the chest. He began whistling the lullaby from earlier, his oafish figure stumbling drunkenly in the shadows. Bo noticed the lantern had tipped over when Hans discarded Reggie, and the flames were now devouring the front of the trailer, its fingers ravaging the walls with a cruel heat. The exit was now blocked in more ways than one, forcing Bo to accept his fate. "No, I'm not dying here," Bo shouted defiantly. He made a run for it, tucking his head and charging right for Hans. The brute was caught off guard and nearly missed Bo as he was fleeing. Hans's hand grabbed the tail of Bo's shirt, causing them both to lose their balance. Bo slammed into the ground, knocking the wind from his lungs. He tried to catch his breath, but the smoke was suffocating. Before he could make it to his feet, Hans pounced on him, using his strong hands to pin him to the ground.
"Now you die, bastard!"
Hans screamed, inches from his face. The large hand slowly closed around Bo's neck and squeezed with immense pressure. Bo slammed the ice pick into Hans's neck and abdomen, stabbing over and over like a madman. Hans's eyes went wide, and blood seeped out from between his lips. The man's body went limp, crushing Bo underneath his weight. Bo used every bit of the strength he had left to try and move Hans's body, but it was no use. The fire had engulfed the whole trailer, and he felt his skin beginning to blister. This is it, Bo thought. He had escaped the law, only to die in this drunk bastard's trailer. Bo looked over and was horrified to find the contorted body of a woman inside the chest. Amongst her was a pile of small bones, possibly belonging to a child. Then Bo realized who the woman was. It was Magda the contortionist, Hans's old flame. The bones were not the bones of a child, but the bones of the dwarf. The laughing man, as Hans had referred to him. Bo tried to let out a scream, but his vocal cords were singed, and only a faint wheeze escaped his throat. Then everything went black, sinking him into eternal darkness. The last thing he heard was the sound of Magda's finger scratching on the inside of the chest. What did you think of these short horror stories? Comment or email redtreehousepod@gmail.com. As we turn down the lights on this episode, join me next time as I read you another collection of short horror stories. I'm your host, Will. Thanks for joining me in the Red Tree House.
Bye.